Why are we calling this a potential alien body? Because that's exactly what it could be. So far, DNA testing has shown us a species unlike anything found in the fossil record. Back in June of 2017, an announcement was made publicly about a new mummy that was unearthed in Nazca, Peru, that began showing incredible signs of being a species we have not yet found. Now, new bodies have been revealed, and they are proving to be highly interesting as well. Yes, there have been crashed craft and bodies recovered. We are not alone in the universe, they have been coming here for a long time. I happen to be privileged enough to be in on the fact that we have been visited on this planet, and the UFO phenomenon is real. Dr. Edgar Mitchell, sixth man to walk on the moon. Source. There are hundreds of high-ranking people, like Mitchell, who have argued this. On top of that, we've had the official declassification of hundreds of thousands of government documents via the Freedom of Information Act, showing decades of military encounters with unidentified flying objects, traveling at speeds and performing maneuvers no known aircraft can. And all of this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this topic. If you haven't already heard, Gaia.com recently released information and footage regarding the discovery of multiple mummified bodies. They are humanoid and have 3 fingers and 3 toes on each hand, with a distinctly different shape of skull compared to modern-day humans, as well as those who roamed the Earth before we did. Multiple scientists have been involved with this project up to this point, as you will see in the video below. One of them is Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, a professor of computer science and biophysics at St. Petersburg Federal University of Informational Technologies, Mechanics, and Optics. He said, "We have a very important mission here in Peru. I came here because of this group of scientists, professionals, and journalists. When they brought out the body and pulled it out of the box, it was a stunned silence at first." Author Graham Hancock describes his experience in one of his books, Fingerprints of the Gods. Below us now there's a pair of parallel lines, almost 2 miles long, arrows straight all the way to vanishing point. And there, off to the right, a series of abstract shapes on a scale so vast and yet so precisely executed that it seems inconceivable they could have been the work of men. The people around here say that they were not the work of men, but of demigods, the Viracachas, who also left their fingerprints elsewhere in the Andean region many thousands of years ago. So far it seems that initial examinations suggest the possibility of a species unlike anything found in the fossil record. Early DNA results of the mummy, named Maria, show that she is female, and that the other bodies found alongside her, which look to be a spouse and a couple of children, are also real biological bodies. Some of their organs are actually still intact. Further testing was done on one of the strangest aspects of these bodies, their fingers and toes, and has shown that these parts are not fake, ruling out any possibility of a hoax. They're the same material, the same chemical composition, and the same DNA. The samples taken from Maria's fingers matched the date of her body, which is approximately 249 to 411 AD. Carbon dating and an analysis of the structure of the body via CT scan and X-ray proved it was real. From the first DNA analysis, it was proven it's not chimpanzee, it's not monkey, but it's human-like DNA. It was proven because we know that now we have 3 types of human-like creatures. It is Neanderthals, Cro-Magnon like ourselves, and Denisovan. Now, at next level, they have to make much more detailed analysis and much more complicated analysis, so they will create a library of genes, and then they will be able to compare it with database of human subjects. Then, we'll see whether it is exactly human-like or it is a little bit different. Dr. Konstantin Korotkov. The team is still currently waiting for a more detailed DNA analysis, which can take some time. What's interesting about the mummy is that all the internal organs have remained intact. The heart, stomach, and parts of the brain are available for examination. It is clear that she has the same type of internal organs as we do. When it comes to the CT scans, we are scientifically proving that this body is a real body that was once alive. For example, here we have the teeth from the upper arch, and here are the ones from the lower arch. The skull with the remains of brain mass, this part here shows the lungs at the side. This is the heart, with the bronchus, and the great vessels, lungs at both sides. This is still the heart, and here are the 4 cavities, and the bronchi that are preserved. They also show the intestines and abdomen, and that the placement of the internal organs is completely harmonious. They are very, very similar. Currently, they are testing the other bodies, and if they prove to be real like the other bodies, that will total 6 real bodies, whoever or whatever they are. The perseveration is amazing. In the video, they show a scan of one of the little mummies, whose bone density reveals the makeup of an actual living being. We can scientifically prove that the skull of these creatures have a cranial cavity similar to humans. But they have some strong differences. Human-like DNA, what does that even mean? What does human-like DNA really mean? After all, humans share 50% of their DNA with a banana, approximately 80% with dogs, and 99% with chimpanzees. In reality, our genomes differ in many ways, but the numbers seem to imply something else. The point I am trying to make is, with regards to my research into the extraterrestrial phenomenon, the common factor is humanoid. With all of this information most likely locked up in black-budget special access programs, SAPs, who knows what type of science and discoveries remain classified? What if the common denominator, when it comes to extraterrestrials, is a DNA match that is extremely close? What would that say about life in general? I don't believe human DNA is limited to our planet alone. English scientist Francis Crick, most noted for co-discovering the structure of the DNA molecule in 1953 alongside James D. Watson, wrote in his book Life Itself that there is no possible way that the DNA molecule could have gotten its start here on Earth, and that it had to have come here from somewhere else. He theorizes, it now seems unlikely that extraterrestrial living organisms could have reached the Earth either as spores driven by the radiation pressure from another star, or as living organisms embedded in a meteorite. As an alternative to these 19th century mechanisms, we have considered directed panspermia, the theory that organisms were deliberately transmitted to the Earth by intelligent beings on another planet. We conclude that it is possible that life reached the Earth in this way, but that the scientific evidence is inadequate at the present time to say anything about the probability. We draw attention to the kinds of evidence that might throw additional light on the topic. He is one of many researchers in the field who believes this.